Starting into the tail recursion, we want to know why the tail recursion has come. Now in the previous lectures we have seen few disadvantages of the recursive function. What is the disadvantage of a recursive function? The recursive function utilizes a stack a lot, right? Why does it happens? Because we defer the calculations in the recursive functions, right? I hope you understand what the meaning of a deferred calculation. So unless and until we hit to the base condition, we do not do any calculation in recursive functions. Once we reach to the base condition, we go back in the shrinking phase and then we start calculating, or we do the computations after the hit of the base condition. And that's the reason we say that all the calculations are deferred in the recursion function, right? And so with the conclusion, what can we say? That a recursion uses a high space, right? Or there is a huge space complexity required for the recursion. Why is it so? Because on each call it is necessary to save the local variables on a separate stack, correct? As a While explaining you the recursive functions, as I already told you, that whenever there is a function call, the current state of a function, the current execution state of a function has to be saved on the top of the stack always. So it in the recursive functions, it consumes more space of the stack, because in a growing phase, every statement of the recursive function is the call to itself, and all those calls, whenever there is a jump from the given function to itself, again whenever there is a jump, we have to store the reference of the variables on the top of the stack. And that's the reason the space complexity of say a factorial function, space complexity of the factorial function is big O of n, right? Now this particular space complexity, or this huge utilization of a space, can be reduced to a big O of 1. The space complexity can be reduced to some number by using a tail recursive function. I hope you have all have understood what we are doing specifically in a tail recursion function. So in a tail recursion, we are trying to reduce the space complexity of a recursive calls. Correct? There we don't have to save the reference of every call on the top of the stack. What we are doing is we are doing the calculation or doing the computations at that place itself, correct? And that's the reason we are able to reduce the requirement of a space, and thus the space complexity is also reduced, correct? So what we do in a tail recursion, in the tail recursion, the computations are done first, and then the values are passed to the recursive call to compute the value of a next recursive call. Very simple, correct? Now look at the example. So see, here is the example of iterative model. Can you tell me what is this example says about? This is about a sum of n numbers, right? A iterative model of sum of n numbers. What we are doing here, the sum of n is equal to s is equal to iterative underscore sum, a function call, into bracket n comma 1 comma 0. Right now, what is this algorithm iterative underscore sum says? So it has the input of n comma I comma sum. So while I is less than n, correct? While I, this particular I is less than n, do sum is equal to sum plus I, and I is equal to I plus 1, end and return sum. So very simple function, very simple iterative function for calculation of sum of n numbers. Right? Now we will look into the tail recursive model of the same problem statement. So this is my tail recursive model of the same problem statement. What is the problem statement? Problem statement is about the calculation of sum of n numbers. Now look at every statement. What does it do? See, here I am declaring this sum of n. So s is equal to tail underscore recursion underscore sum into bracket n comma I comma 1 comma 0, right? N comma 1 comma 0. Now what is this algorithm tail underscore recursion underscore sum does? It takes the input as n comma I comma k. Fine. So if I is less than or equal to n, what I say, if I is less than or equal to n, Then return tell underscore rec underscore sum into bracket n comma I plus 1 and comma k plus I. Now we'll do a dry run for this. Let's take an example as say n is equal to 5. Correct. So now to this function, what is the function? Tell underscore rec underscore sum. What are my inputs? My inputs are 5, which is my n, right? This 5 is my n. Then I have I. What is this value of I? Value of I initially is 1. You can see here. And K. What is the value of K? K is 0 initially. Correct? So this is my function. Correct? So initially, so look at this. N is having some value, I is having some value, and K is having some value. Initially, N is having value of 5, I is having value 1, and K is having value 0. I hope this is clear with all of you what I'm trying to do. I'm just doing a dry run of a given algorithm. I'm just trying to execute my given algorithm, whether it is correct or not. And for that, I need some dummy values. So I say that I need to find out the sum of n numbers. So here n is equal to 5, right? I is equal to 1 and k is equal to 0 initially. Correct. Now in the next iteration, see what I say, if I is less than or equal to n. Correct. What is my condition? I is less than or equal to n. What is the value of I? 1. 1 is less than or equal to 5. Right? N is 5. Is it true? Is it true? Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Correct. Then what am I supposed to do? Return tell underscore rec underscore sum into bracket n. N hai. I plus 1. So this will become 2 and k plus I. What was the value of I? 1. So 1. Correct? So this is my iteration 2. Iteration. So this is my iteration 1. This is my initial stage. Correct? This is my initial stage and that was my iteration 1. Is this clear? This is my iteration 1. Fine. So again, I is less than or equal to n. What is the value of I now? I is 2. So each 2 is less than or equal to 5. Is 2 is less than or equal to 5? Yes, tell me. So true. 2 is less than or equal to 5. Correct? So once it is less than or equal to 5, again I will have this iteration 2. What will happen in iteration 2? Now my n is as it is. I plus 1. So this will become 3. And k is this will become k plus I. So it will become 1 plus 2. So which is again my 3. Correct? Now again I is less than or equal to 5. Is it true? Yes, this is true. I is less than or equal to 5. So I will have iteration 3. Correct. Now what will happen here? N will become as it is. I is equal to I plus 1. So this will become 4 and k is equal to k plus I. So 3 plus 3, that is my 6. Currently k is 3 and plus I is my 4. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Right. So 4 is less than or equal to 5. Is my 4 is less than or equal to 5? Yes, true. Correct? Yes, true. So I will go to iteration 4. Now what will happen in iteration 4? This will become 5. I will become 5 and my k will become k plus I. What is the value of k? K is 6 currently. So 6 plus 4. So this will become 10. Correct? This will become 10. Now is my 5 less than or equal to 5? Is my I is less than or equal to 5? Yes, what will come here? Yes, tell me. Yes, what will happen here? So this is true. So I will go to the next iteration. correct? So my n will become 5, I will become 6 now, and what is my value of k? K will become k plus I, so 10 plus 5, that is 15. Now this value will become false and my loop will stop here. I don't have to go back anywhere because this is my return k. So I will be returning k here. Return k. So that is my sum. So my sum is 15. That is my k. Correct? Is this clear? Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt to the students? Any doubt in execution of this? Any doubts in execution of this? Please look at it again carefully. I hope you all have understood. Is this correct? What I'm trying to do, sum of n numbers. My n is equal to 5. So 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is my 15. So I have achieved this 15 and I hope you have understood the dry run for this also. Correct? So this is how I am not using the stack as at all. There is no stack unwinding is required over here. What I am doing here, initially I am computing and transferring the values in the recursive call, right? I'm computing and transferring the values in the recursive call. So this is clear. Now we will go to the see, this was the example with iterative model and the tail recursive model, right? Now we will go to the another example, which is the example with recursive algorithm and tail recursive approach. Correct? So this is all about now the difference between the recursive and tail recursive approach. Now this is very simple example, the example of a factorial. So here this is my function with the factorial. I hope you all know this function with the factorial because we have already seen this since many days. So what I'm doing here is algorithm factorial n. So if n is equal to 1, then return n, correct? Directly the 1. So you will be returning the 1. Else return n into factorial of n minus 1. Correct? So this is how my recursion happens. And in the tail recursive approach, look at the function of the tail recursive approach. So this is my function of the tail recursive approach. Correct? Now we will see what happens in the recursive algorithm. So what we will do, suppose I want to find a factorial of 5. Correct? What am I supposed to do in a factorial of simple? Very simple. So let's say 4. So what I will do over here is I will be doing, see, if n is equal to 1, no. Correct? If n is equal to 1, no. So where I will go, else return n into factorial n minus 1. So what I will do, 4 into factorial n minus 1, that is 3. Correct? Again it will go up. Correct? Is n is equal to 1? No, currently my n is 3. So what am I supposed to do? 4 into bracket 3 into factorial of 3 minus 1, that is my 2. Correct? Is my 2 equal to 1? No. So again I will go into loop. So 4 into 3 into 2 into factorial of 1. Is this clear to all of you? And now fact n is equal to 1, right? Now my n has become 1. So it will be returning the value of n. So what we'll have over here is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Correct? So I will be having, so now in this step, I will be calculating 2 into 1. So what is the next step? 4 into 3 into 2. Correct? Then what is the next step? 4 into 6. And the last step is 4 into 6, that is my 24. So this is how my recursive algorithm works. Correct? This is how my recursive algorithm will work. Now we will see how this tail recursive approach works, right? A dry run of a tail recursive approach. Correct? Now what we are doing here, again I will do a same factorial of 4 comma 1, comma 0. What we are doing here? Here I am saying that, see, here my n, I will be having the variables as n, fact, and I. So what is my initial value of n, fact, and I? So the initial value of n is 4, fact is 1, and I is 0. These are my initial values. Correct. Now in the next step, what am I supposed to do? So this will become, what? So this will be, see, is n is equal to I? No, n is currently not equal to I. So where I will go? I will go to return n into fact into something comma I plus 1, right? So what I am returning here? So I am doing, see, what I am doing here is I will be calling a factorial with the value. Correct. So what am I returning? Return here. So here I'm doing this. Correct. This. Okay. Fine. So here I'm calling a factorial into bracket 4 comma 1. 1, why is it 1? Fact into I plus 1. So what is I plus 1? I is currently 0. So I plus 1 will become 1. Right. So fact, what is the value of fact? 1. So this will be 1 into 1. So this will become 1, and then it will become 1 plus 1. So that is my factorial 4 comma 1 comma 1. Correct. So now this will become 4 comma 1 comma 1. Correct. Now is my n equal to I? Is 4 is equal to 1? No. Correct. N equal to what is this? I. So this will become false. N is not equal to I. Again here also it will become false. Correct. So now in the next iteration, once it is false, what I have to do? I have to go to the next statement, else statement. So return factorial comma n comma fact into I plus 1 comma I plus 1. So what I will have? Factorial into n. n तो कॉमन है, 4 तो है आपका, राइट, 4 इंटू, नाउ लिसन, फैक्ट की वैल्यू क्या है? 1 है, आई पी वैल्यू क्या है? 1 है. So I will become 1 plus 1, that is 2. So 2 into 1, correct? Am I right? So 2 into 1 is 2, comma I plus 1. So this will also become 2. Correct? So this values will become 4, 2, 2. And this is still false. Right? Now in the next iteration, now again, when it is false, it has to again go and call a function factorial. Go and call a function factorial. It will have a value 4, comma. Again, remember, fact into I plus 1. So what is the value of fact now? 2. I plus 1 क्या हो जाएगा? 3. So 3 into 2 is 6. Correct? 6 comma I plus 1, that is my 3. Right? So here I will have value 4, 6 and 3. Is my n equal to I? No. So this will again have a value as a false. Correct? And then I will go to the else part and call a factorial function with I with 4 comma fact into I plus 1. What is the value of I? I is 3. Currently I is value 3. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 into 6 is 24. Right? 4 into 6 is 24 plus I plus 1, that is my 4. Correct. Now this has become 4, 24 and 4. Now is my n is equal to I? Yes. Now this value has become true. Correct. This particular statement, if n is equal to I, so now my n has become equal to I. So n is equal to 4 and I is also 4. So then what I have to do? Then return fact, return the value of variable fact, right? So over here, once it reaches to true, once this reaches to true, what I have to do? Return fact. So what is this return fact? So it will return the value of variable fact, which is my 24. So with this tell recursive approach, I don't have to go for stack winding and unwinding, right? Here what I'm doing is I'm just calculating my values and passing those values to the next recursive calls, passing those value to the next function call. right? And I at the end there is no phase of stack unwinding, or there is no need of a pop. Once you reach to the base condition, at base condition there itself we get a return value. So my tell recursive function has an advantage. It doesn't have to go to the stack unwinding phase, it doesn't have to go to the stack shrinking phase, and it is that's the reason it is not slow, it doesn't use a stack, correct? And that's the reason the recursive tell recursive functions are faster than the recursive functions. So did you understood the importance of the tell recursive function? Tell recursive functions are faster than the recursive function. The space complexity required in the version of a tell recursive function is less than the recursive function. So these are efficient in aspect of space utilization. Tell recursive functions are efficient in respect of the space utilization.